Hi guys, so in today's video we are going to be making a very delicious okra and egusi soup. We are going to be making it in one pot. Okay, I already have a video of this soup, but in that video I fried both the egusi and the okra. So if you are not a fan of fried foods, then this video is for you. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and let's start cooking. So for the ingredients, I'll be using some chicken. I'm using one whole chicken. I made a video on how to cut a whole chicken, so in case if you want to check that out, you can click the link in the description box below. And I'll also be using some mackerel which has already been cut and some shaki which is tripe. So I'm going to start cooking the meat and the fish before I show you the rest of the ingredients. Now after adding the meat and the fish into my pot, I'll be adding this meat seasoning. This meat seasoning is so good for when you want to cook meat, So after adding that, if you don't have that, you can add some seasoning cubes or seasoning powder. Okay, add just a tiny bit of water into the pot and place it on fire. Now for the rest of the ingredients, I'll be using about 2 cups of egusi which I've already washed, and here is my okra. I'm going to be using that 2 bags. You guys remember when I picked this okra from the African shop video I showed you? All right, so here I've got 1 onion, 2 scotch bonnets, 2 fresh tomatoes and 1 red bell pepper. I've got some seasoning cubes, palm oil, and here comes my uziza seeds, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to be using about that much. You can use uziza leaves if you want. I'll be adding some crayfish, and finally I'll be garnishing with some spinach. If you want, you can use bitter leaves, you can use kale, you can use ugu if you want. So I just took a little from that onion. As you saw, now I'm not using all the onions. I just cut, it's not even up to half, just a little bit. Cut it and add to the blender. Add the scotch bonnet, and I'm using half of the red bell pepper, and then I'm going to be adding the uziza seeds together with the crayfish, and then I'll add the already washed melon seeds which is egusi, and I will pour water to half of what I have in my blender. And now we are going to blend it until everything is nice and smooth. So when blending this, make sure you start with the lower speed and then you can increase. So after blending it, this is what it should look like. As you can see, it is nice and smooth. Now I'm going to be pouring that into the pot of meat and fish that has been cooking for a while now. I think it's been cooking for about 10 minutes. I'm not really sure, but I know it's been up to 10 minutes. So after pouring that in, I just give it a gentle stir, and now I'm adding my palm oil. Just add as much as you want, but make sure not to add too much oil, because we already know that egusi had some oil in it. So cover the pot and let that cook for some minutes, and while that is cooking, I'm going to start washing and cutting my okra. I already washed the okra with some salt, and now I'm just going to slice it into small pieces like so. And make sure you keep an eye on your pot. Don't forget what you have in the pot. Just keep stirring it from time to time to prevent it from burning. So I just checked and I noticed that the soup was somehow thick, and you guys know I don't like thick stews and soups, so I added some water to loosen it up. And I'm tasting to see if I need to add some seasoning, and yes, I sure need to add some seasoning to it. So I added some of that, and I'm going to be adding some salt as well. Just add for as much as you want, okay? Make sure you always taste your food before you can add more seasonings and salt. I'm still tasting it again, and everything looks perfect. So I'm going to cover the pot and allow it to cook for more 5 minutes, so that the oil and the seasoning I just added can cook down a little bit. And then after about 5 minutes, I'm going to be adding my sliced okra. And give it a gentle stir. I will also be adding water to this because this soup is very thick for my liking. I'm saying it again, I don't like thick soups or stews, so I'm adding more water. I even added more water off camera, and yet the soup still looks very thick. So while you are adding water, that means you need to add more seasoning or salt if you have to, because the more you add water, the more the soup loses its taste. So when you add water, you stir it very well, then taste it and see if you need to add more seasoning to it. But please be sure not to add too much seasoning to your soup to prevent stomach upset, okay, and purging. So just be careful with the way you add your seasoning cubes. I know lots of people are like, you always like to add too much seasoning. I'm telling you guys, that is because I'm making a plenty of soup. Like, I'm making a large quantity of soup, which I'm going to be storing in the freezer, just like this one now. I'm going to be storing it in the freezer. So after leaving the soup again for 5 more minutes, guys, I added the spinach. The spinach should come last, or whatever vegetable you are using, it should always come last. So after adding the spinach, I covered the pot and let it simmer on a medium heat for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then my soup was ready. I let it cool down a bit. So this is what my soup is looking like. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that. I will see you guys in my next video.